Well, hey there, folks. I'm meteorologist Matt Barentine. It's going to be a hot and steamy day out there. We start seeing those heat index values hitting the triple digits this afternoon, so be prepared for that. Could see some isolated showers today, but better chances of rain Saturday and going into Sunday, but just slightly better. And altogether, a very sultry weekend coming up for us here across the area. Been in the 80s here already this morning, so it's been very warm and humid to start off the day. Let's get right into the futurecast. This is what's important here on the day, and you can see there'll be a few showers around. This is 3 o'clock, 20 to 30% chance here today. Not everybody sees rain, so just a few pop-up showers here for us once again today. We saw some around yesterday. We'll see some around again today. We'll see some around over the weekend as well. All right, we talk about the dew points a lot lately. Dew points are a measure of moisture in the air. Basically, you can see the dew points will be in the mid-70s next several days. That's very, very humid. I know it looks like a temperature, but think of it more as a scale. Basically, you know, the dew point is a measure of how much moisture the air can hold. And when it gets into the mid-70s, that's very high levels of moisture. And that is what we're looking at here next several days. That leads to higher heat index values for us across the area. Highs today should be in the low 90s, which is, once again, not too far off of average for this time of year. Very typical of what we would typically see. You can see a lot of low 90s for inland areas, upper 80s in coastal areas, 91 in Mobile, 89 in Pensacola, 87 in Navarre, 88 in Destin, 91 Monroeville, Atmore, 92 in Chatham and Evergreen. Those are very, very typical temperatures here for this time of year. And then you factor in that humidity. We just talked about the humidity, that we talked about the heat index. So we talk about the dew points. When the dew points are high, the heat index, that creates high heat index. High humidity, high heat index. Okay, well, why is that? All right, so what happens when you have really humid conditions? Your body, as it gets hot, we sweat. That is our body's natural air conditioning system. So we get sweat gathering on your skin. When that sweat evaporates, it's called evaporative cooling, and that cools your body off. But it's very hot and very humid. That sweat doesn't evaporate very well, and it makes you feel hotter. Your sweat sticks to your skin, the moisture sticks to your skin, and it makes you feel actually hotter. So what a high temperature with a high dew point, high humidity does is it basically short circuits our body's ability to cool itself off and makes it feel hotter. So that's why, you know, a high of about 90, 91 degrees in Mobile today could feel as hot as 102 with the heat index. So these are what it feels like temperature. So this is a formula that we use to kind of give us what it feels like. So these aren't the temperatures that'll be on the thermometer today. This is what it's going to feel like. So temperatures will feel hotter than what the thermometer. So I have widespread triple-digit heat index values today and next couple of days going into the weekend. So it's going to stay very hot and steamy. Got some good news. I know that's not the greatest news, but we do have good news in the tropics. There's nothing out there, nothing to worry about. Not going to spend any time on it because there's just nothing going on in the tropics right now, which is good news. There is going to be a high rip current risk today. We have single red flags flying at most of our local beaches. It does go down to moderate tomorrow with rip current risk. I'm hopeful that we can see some of these red flags change to yellow flags, but certainly when you get to the beach, you check the beach flags at the beach you go to. All right? They may not change them everywhere. It just depends on the local conditions. So just be aware of that. And the flags are red. Do not get in the water. Now, technically, they're not closed until we get to double red flags, and most of our flags are single reds right now. I know that's confusing. But I would suggest not getting in the water because it's still too rough. And, you know, you don't want to become a statistic. And the worst thing that could happen on a vacation is to not return from it. So please don't do it. There's going to be better days. All right, so here's your boating forecast. If you're going to go out in the boat, I know it's snapper season now. Earlier, the better. Once we get into the afternoon, things get rougher, things get windier. So earlier, the better. You'll be thankful if you get that fishing done in the morning, come back a little bit after lunchtime, because you'll see the conditions getting worse as the day goes along. Saturday and Sunday are both going to be hot, well up into the 90s. There'll be some pop-up showers and storms, 30 to 40% chance both days. Not a big deal with the rain chances, but there will be some around, so they could impact your weekend. These kind of things on the summertime, I tell people, you just make your plans and be flexible. Be aware that you could run into a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. It's just the way it is. We can't sit there and, you know, dice it apart every single weekend like, I can't do anything this weekend because there might be a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. There's you'll never do anything then, because there's always going to be pop-up showers and thunderstorms. So you just make your plans and you just be flexible. That's all you can do. Next 7 days, once again, some pop-up showers and storms over the weekend, but look at next week. Rain chance, well, let me make this big so you can see it better. Get my mug out of there. Looking at temperatures in the 80s next week because of extra rain being around. You can see those rain chances much higher Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, and that's going to help us out with our temperatures, but obviously there'll be more rain around to deal with. So it's always a trade-off in the summertime between temperatures and rain. The more rain you have, the lower the temperatures. Of course, the lower the temperatures, the more rain. So it's just the way it goes. Thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 10. Hope you have yourself a wonderful weekend.